Hi guys, welcome to Yoga and Coconuts. Today I have a very special guest with me, Peewee. She's a long-time Hatha Yoga teacher as well as Kriya Yoga teacher and facilitator. She has spent many years learning from her guru. That's why I'm having her here today to explain us what Kriya Yoga is and share her wisdom and her knowledge with us. I also finished Kriya Yoga teacher training with her, level 1, and it was a really intense program, a lot of emotional release. But again, I'm not here to talk about my experience. Let's just ask Peewee. So let's start with what is Kriya Yoga?
Okay. Yeah, so Kriya is a Sanskrit word meaning an action that cleanses you and aligns you with source energy or makes you into more improved version of you. So Kriya means cleansing practice, but we're not talking about physical cleansing here in this kind of Kriya Yoga. We're talking about cleansing your energy body very quickly of stagnant energy that might be giving you disease or mental unwellness.
And when did you get introduced to Kriya, and what's your story?
Okay, so way back in 2012, I've been training Hatha Yoga teachers, 200 hours, 300 hours since 2009. And I was presenting in this yoga festival in 2012, and my students went to another session of my guru Pradeep, and they were completely blown away by it, and they're like, you have to try this. Oh my God, Peewee, you have to try. And my students were telling me this, and I had no idea. And they actually invited Guruji over to one of their houses, and they said, okay, Peewee, you need to be here. And because they're all my students, there are like 20 of them, right? 20 of my students are like, you have to be here. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go because of them. Yeah. I thought, I'll just, peep my head in and go away, and that will be done. And what happened was that during the session, Guruji started chanting, and my whole body started moving by itself. And I'm like, what? And Kriyas are weird, okay? And it was just so weird. And I'm like a Zen, actually a Tibetan Buddhist from the Vajrayana schools of Nyingma. And we just sit. We sit. And people weren't sitting, they were like doing all these funny movements, but it was the most intense meditative experience I've had in my life, right? And so because of those two things, after being a Buddhist for like maybe 15 years, really doing intense Buddhist Tantra, and nothing has impressed me this much, right? In all my years of Hatha Yoga, training teachers, going to world-renowned teachers, and getting empowerments from all these high-level lamas, nothing has impressed me this much. And I'm like, what's going on? And so I decided to explore it more, and I started studying with him. Okay. And I went to India several times. And after a while, I got so into it because I could really feel my energy body was developing. And not only just the energy body, but even my whole life was just evolving at such a rapid pace. And then I started assisting him around maybe 5 years ago in teacher trainings. And that's how I met my guru. Yeah.
Well, the Kriya was calling you.
I think so.
As you say, it's the fastest way to help.
Completely. It's in this book called Autobiography of a Yogi, where they talk about Kriya Yoga. What you're going to hear the author say all the time is it's like the fastest way to enlightenment.
So, from my experience with Kriya Yoga, it's a lot of dynamic movements, a lot of release, and why are we moving so much?
Oh my God. Yeah, that was, when I met my Guruji, the first thing that came out of my mouth after the session, and the first thing I ever said to him in this lifetime is, why are we moving so much? And he said, from great movement comes great stillness. And it was just so profound. You know, the thing is that most modern people are agitated inside, but don't have any way of expressing and releasing that agitation. And so if you tell someone agitated, okay, we're just going to sit down and be quiet for like 2 hours, they'll go insane and run away.
That's why the meditation scare people.
Yes.
They're like, oh, I cannot.
And the reason is you don't need to try to meditate. If you remove all, we call this energy in yoga rajasic, which means an agitated energy. If you had a way to remove this agitated energy from you, you would be able to sit even longer, like you would be there and you wouldn't realize it's been 3 hours already. This, for me, is the meditative state. It's not something you have to try to do. You can arrive at it and actually want to be still. But for that, we need a practice that will remove the agitated energy from your body. And that's what one of the things that Kriya does.
So can you tell us one story which can show how Kriya changed you?
Let's start with what happened to me yesterday.
Okay.
Okay, because see, Kriya, you have to understand, but Kriya keeps evolving you.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, the more you evolve, and the sky is the limit to your evolution. Okay, so even though throughout the years, Kriya has given me incredible abilities that seem almost impossible. I usually don't talk about them, but I use them when I train and when I heal people. Okay, but what I can talk about is what happened to me yesterday. Because, you know, I have a lot of, you know Mulan, have you seen Mulan?
Yes.
You know how she keeps complaining because she has too much chi?
Yes.
Okay, that's basically me. Okay, I had too much chi, but in a very yang way.
Yeah.
And I just lack that feminine, kind of feminine touch. And earlier this year, I made sort of like an intention, like a resolution. I made a New Year's resolution that I've got all this power flowing through me, but what I need is softness, surrender, and a bigger heart to handle all this energy. And so I made that intention a month ago. And I do Kriya Yoga sadhana every morning. And what happened yesterday, and I was working on my receiving channel, and I felt a lump here.
All right.
And then I did Kriya on it, and it went away. And then this flood of energy entered my heart, and my heart expanded. And I had this realization that there's nothing wrong with me. Sometimes we're under the false impression that there's something wrong with us because we're not like other people.
Yeah, that's so beautiful because we always feel like we need to fix something.
Yes, but the reality is, if you accept who you are, but uncover exactly who you are and not the shadow of who you are that you think you feel, the more it's like you're looking into a dirty mirror. And the more you wipe up the mirror, which is the Kriya Yoga practices, the more you can see really who you are. And what I saw was just incredibly beautiful being of love. And even people are telling me today after that experience, Peewee, you know, your face looks different. You know, you look softer, you look,
That's so
you know.
beautiful.
And that's the thing with the Kriya practices is they're instantaneous. And when your energy changes, your physical appearance, your health instantaneously changes.
Yeah, people see you differently suddenly.
They see you differently and you see other people differently because I've been seeing into people's eyes. This morning there's this lady on the street and I looked into her eyes. I'm like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. You know, so even the way you see other people changes. And the thing is, when you come into the process of growth and unfolding, it's just this conscious, like you're like a flower.
Yeah.
And it's just this conscious series of events that open you up and open you up and open you up to who you really are and allow you to receive all the grace that God is sending you without pushing it away.
Actually, I remember during this level 1 Kriya Yoga teacher training with
Yeah.
you, we were talking about what we really are and why we're on this planet, because I believe like most of us, if not even all of us, ask this question, but
Why are we here?
Yeah, but the answer doesn't really come, so
Okay,
maybe
well,
you
actually,
can give some clarity to
like,
people.
this is from Kashmir Shaivism, which is one of the foundational philosophies that Kriya Yoga is built on. But, in my experiences, I've done around, about a dozen Kriya trainings by now. And from all the other inputs of people from different disciplines that have come to attend my training, I've heard from Taoists, I've heard from Chinese medicine practitioners that yin and yang is the same as ha and tha, which is the same as Shiva and Shakti, which is the same as feminine and masculine in Tantra. And basically, what I'm leading to is why are we here is because pure consciousness itself cannot look in the mirror and experience itself, and so needs to become spread out into different aspects. It's like you take a crystal and you flash a light on it. The light is God. And then the crystal will refract it into different colors, like different beams of light, but they're actually just one beam of light. So we are all one beam of light passing through planet Earth, but refracted into different beautiful beings. And really, if you look at quantum physics, this body is not real. It's just vibration. What is vibration? Light. What is light? Vibration. Okay? Electrons rising and falling, creating some luminant aspect. That's what we are.
So why don't we remember?
Why don't we remember that we're part of God?
Yes.
It's like, why don't we remember we're part of God? Because it's more fun when
So
we
it's
do.
a game.
You can call it a game, and that makes it better.
Yeah.
Right? Games are not serious. So if you think life is too serious, you're missing out on like 50%. So why don't we remember that we are the inhale and exhale of God?
Yeah.
Because once, like, for example, you've got a noisy fridge.
Yeah.
After a while, you don't hear it anymore. You've gotten used to it.
Yeah.
They take the fridge away. And then you realize what silence means. So why don't we remember that we're God? Because it's more fun when you do. It's like, wow! It's like it's one of those spiritual experiences that happen in your life when you have this presence of something greater, more immensely, more loving than you've ever experienced.
So can you tell us one of your experiences when you felt it, when you knew it, like?
Okay, I'll tell you a story of the first time that Guruji brought me to the Himalayas. Because, see, when you start remembering that you are the inhale and exhale of God, that taps you into becoming one with different parts of creation itself. Mm-hmm. And there's this one story where Guruji brought us into the land of Mahavatar Babaji, which is called Badrinath. And Badrinath is in Uttarakhand in the Himalayas. We were in an ashram that, you need to know where it is it's not on the road, they're not on Facebook, know. So we're in his ashram, and I have a habit of doing my practice at 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Why so early?
Because, see, right before sunrise, around 4 o'clock to 4:30, depending on the part of the world that you're in, the environment gets flooded with more oxygen. That's why the birds start singing before sunrise, because it activates them. If you notice, anywhere in the world you are, the birds start singing. So if you catch that wave of oxygenation and you do, let's say, a breathwork practice like Kriya, it amplifies the result. So I wake up at 3 a.m., which is before the time. So by the time it gets there, I'm really deep. So I did my practice, and I sat, and in front of me is this river that feeds into the Ganges. It's one of the two rivers that feed into the Ganges, and it's called the Alaknanda River. So I was sitting with the Alaknanda River flowing in front of me, and I started chanting, which I normally do as part of my sadhana, and this being of light comes out of the river and zaps me. I cannot explain, and now people are saying, oh, you're just talking crazy. That's what I thought, okay? Then the more it happens to you and the more you can see light beings, and if you can grab someone's hand and scan them like an MRI, then you realize maybe there's something here. Okay, so this being of light and gold came out of the river and zapped me in the middle of my chanting. And what happened in the afternoon was, at 4 o'clock in the same place, I was doing Kriya with my classmates and Guruji. And then I went into a state which is called the Samadhi state, which they tell you about in teacher trainings, but you don't really see it. No one goes through it in front of you. Exactly. But in Kriya, it happens all the time.
They say it's like, it's impossible, basically.
Yeah.
We're learning all these practices.
How many Samadhi states do you think you've seen in your Kriya course?
Yeah, quite a few maybe.
Yeah. There you go. So I got into a Samadhi state, and I turned into the river. Like, I was not this body anymore. I was the Alaknanda River. And if I cannot explain how it feels, but the best thing I can do is say, like, when you hear a 6-month-old baby laugh, when you tickle a 6-month-old baby, that bubbling, giggly laughter, that's how I felt. And I had no body anymore. I was just rolling and laughing atoms of stuff. And then, apparently, so that hit me at around 4 o'clock. And when I came to, it was 8 p.m., everyone was gone, and I was lying on the floor, and Guruji had his hand on my chest. And I opened my eyes, and he had his hand on my chest, and he was looking at me and smiling.
So you were gone for quite
I was gone for quite some time, but it didn't seem that, it seemed like 10 minutes.
Why is that?
Because time doesn't really exist in this state, because we don't have a brain processor to process time when you're the river. Do you think the river has a concept of time? No, because it doesn't have eyes, ears, nose, and mouth, and a brain to process the moment by moment, and to store it. The reason why we have time is because we have memory.
Yeah, so
if we didn't have memory, we don't have time.
We hear quite often there is no time, time doesn't exist, but it's so hard for us to understand.
Because we have senses. Yeah. I saw this 5 seconds ago. I close my eyes. I don't see it again. That 5 seconds is recorded, and the only way we can make sense of why isn't it there anymore is by the concept of time. So the reason why there's time is because our brain processor can only pick up reality in moments of time. But if we didn't have the senses in the way we do, then maybe the way we would process moment would be different. Maybe we'd realize all moments are one moment. Maybe. We don't know because we don't. But in the Samadhi states, you're able to override your senses and the thinking mind, which isn't your whole brain. If you ask any neurosurgeon, they will tell you, oh, so many parts of your brain are not necessary because you don't need them to think. No, you don't need them for analytical thinking, but there are other ways to use our brain. Ask a Buddhist monk, because they've been clocked at using 50 to 80% of their brain. Whereas a normal person, good luck if you get to like 20.
Yeah, probably around 10.
Why? Because we don't recognize that there's so much untapped parts of our brain, but we are just not being encouraged to use them. You've got a little kid who has the ability to imagine, and you tell them you need to grow up and stop imagining. That's a big part of the brain that just dies because you're not allowed to do that anymore.
Yeah, I know you didn't do this to your kids.
No, definitely not. My son just got hired by one of the most strongest chemical companies in the world. He's a chemical engineer. My daughter's an award-winning architect student because I never killed their ability to imagine, visualize, and
They can
and
connect.
think and connect. Because all kids are talented to see energy. All kids are talented to go astral. All kids can intuitively tap into knowledge that's beyond our brain, but what you need to do is not discourage it.
So the kids kind of still remember when they are
The
born.
kids still remembering being the breath of God.
Yeah.
You know, why are babies' heads open on top here? Because they're still plugged into God. And then it closes, and then, you know, parents are like, well, you have to grow up now and stop those
Yeah.
foolish childhood things.
And we go into the system, which
You
makes
go into the
us so-
system, which doesn't ask you what you see,
Yeah.
but tells you what you should see.
Exactly.
And that makes it even worse. So we lose the ability to be intuitive. So a lot of people are trying to tap into their intuition, trying to, you know, have psychic abilities or be able to visualize more, manifest. All of this stuff you could naturally do when you were 7. It's just that people told you that it was impossible and you believe them. Yeah, but it's no one's fault. Like I said, why did we forget we are God? Because it's more fun when you go back. And that's why now in this blinded state, we do Kriya Yoga and the blinders come off your eyes.
Yeah, and we have cool experiences.
And you have cool experiences that you thought, there's no way this could be possible, but they keep happening again and again, not only to you, but to everyone else in the group. Yeah. And you realize, oh my God, it could be real.
So, you know, because as kids, we knew all of it, let's say, and then during the years, we forget and we really focus on this physical world and forget about this, that
the subtle layers of being, that we are more, but you know, they should teach more quantum physics if it only wasn't so brainy and, you know, because quantum physics and yoga are saying the same thing. We are 99% space and only like less than 1% solid, which is just vibration. And you go into that, what you think is solid, into the subatomic world, and again, you'll see we are 99% space and maybe 1% solid. And then you go into that again, and the same thing just keeps happening.
So it's just space.
Just like what the Buddhist said, everything you see is illusion. Yeah.
But at the same time, so real.
Yes, because we chose this. Yeah. We chose to feel the other parts of God in this way.
So, you know, because we see everything so physical, and even, let's say, we going through a lot of like health problems or diseases.
Because we think everything is physical, unmovable, we're in a state of impossible.
So would you say this is more of a stagnant energy?
Yes. Again, unmovable. Stagnant energy. So in Ayurveda and even in Chinese medicine, what they call disease is actually energy that was not able to flow, has become stagnant. Like if you take a river and it's flowing, it's clear, but when you bottle it up in a pond, the water starts to get stagnant. In that same way, if you have pockets of stagnant energy in your body, then that affects the health of the cells in that area of the body, and those cells are connected to your mind through your nerves and your limbic system. And so that can affect your mind as well. So your body and mind get affected by the pools of stagnant energy in the body. And the more you don't work the body, and the more you don't put vibrant energy into your body through clear air and knowing how to breathe and eating pure vibrant foods, the more stagnant pools of energy you'll have inside of you, then the more unwell you're going to get.
So it's just all so connected. Like we cannot properly use this instrument, as you say, if we don't take care of it. And then
Yeah, so this is like your instrument for seeing the world.
We cannot experience all
And our
this.
brain is also your instrument for processing what you experience. But if you don't take care of it and you don't keep the energy flowing,
And we already have a lot of limitations in the body, let's say. So if we put more as a disease, then we can really not experience something mystical.
Yes, that's right. So what we need to do is just liberate ourselves from all the stuck energy in our body, in our brain. And when you do that, you'll realize that there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
You just told yourself there was. Going back to my experience yesterday. And this is where the problem lies. But it can be undone. And when you undo it and you look back over your shoulder, it means more to you. It's a precious jewel now that you found it again. It's like, in the Bible.
Yeah, I think it's clear. Even just being with you and seeing, I saw so many examples when you healed people. They had problems with their hips and this and that for years. They went to all the doctors, all the medicine, nothing helped, and then you just remove that energy.
Yeah, so it's basically just removing the energy from their body that was stuck.
And that's why we do Kriya.
Exactly, that's why we do Kriya. You don't need to wait for Peewee to come to your town. You can do it for yourself. The point of Kriya is to show you the way. This is what gurus do. They show you the way, but you need to walk the road.
Yes.
You can't just lie on your couch and go, guru. It's not going to happen. You need to do the walking. Because if you don't, you're going to go back to stagnant.
Exactly.
It won't be, and then you'll have to get someone, guru, stagnant. You know what? What if you didn't have to do that anymore? Well, it can happen if you do the action for yourself. And you continue to commit to working on yourself. This is so important. If you're ready for the commitment to work on yourself, then I can share you this beautiful path. And it's very quick to work.
And by the end of the day, we all want to be more happy and have a better life and better experience.
That's right. So everyone wants to be happy, healthy, and sane. So what's stopping you? Exactly. And don't forget that what we're doing, this website with Himalayan-Kriya-Yoga.com, it's by free donation. Yeah. You don't need to worry about finances. Yeah. Because we're not doing this for the money. We're doing this to raise the frequency of the planet and to help everyone that's willing to get off the couch and commit to working on themselves.
One more question. What does it work even if someone does not really believe in energy?
Okay, that's a great question. You know what? On Instagram, like we posted this question, ask Peewee anything you want, right? And some lady asked me, very beautiful lady, she asked me, does Kriya have a religion?
Yes, I saw that.
So what I told her was, no, it's not tied to a religion because whether or what you believe in, it's still going to work. It doesn't even matter if you believe in it or not. If you do it, you will feel something. And then it's up to you to make up your mind how to process that experience. And if you're open-minded and scientific, you'll realize. And I told her, because this is science. Yeah. The energy channels, they're written in the Chinese medicine text for thousands of years. You can go to surgery, you can do heart surgery in China and put the needle in the right place and not feel anything. Yeah. Right? So it's a science. Breathwork, the meridians, nadis we call them, that's a science. Okay?
So how to be more sensitive to energy?
It's like this. You've got a big boulder.
Yeah.
You put it in a stream, it doesn't move.
Yeah.
You take a small pebble, you put it in a stream, and the lighter it is, the more it's going to move. Yes? Mm-hmm. Think of that analogy with the human body. If you eat high vibrational foods, meaning foods rich in prana already, meaning none of the artificially created foods, something fresh, and you're breathing fresh air, and you are doing some kind of workout to move the energy in your body, circulation, blood circulation. So if you do those three things, you move your body, you work it out, you're eating a clean diet, drinking clean water, not the sodas and not the coffees, and you're drinking clean water and you're breathing clean air, or at least you're doing breath work or pranayama or teaching yourself. You're doing these things, you are that pebble. If you're not doing those things, you're the boulder.
That's why it's so hard.
So what we need to do is take that boulder and a little bit of like a jackhammer and break it down into smaller chunks. That's what Kriya does. But what I would encourage you to do if you can't get to a Kriya practice at this instance is work out your body, change your diet, fresh fruits and vegetables.
Do you think fasting is also a good way?
Fasting is a great way if you're ready for it. But if you come from, some people can do it, but if you come from, let's say, eating in a fast food restaurant every day to having water, that's not gonna work. It might work. You might go insane, you might have health problems, but it might work. Some people can take it. So I'm not going to judge. Yeah. But what you need to do is reset your system and start eating more high vibrational foods. And the reason why they tell you in yoga to be vegetarian is these foods are light.
Yeah, light to do.
So they make you into the pebble.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? Once your body has the pebble consistency, then you will be feeling all this energy already. Okay? And you also work out, do some breath work, because breathing is one way of flooding your body with vital energy.
And we take it for granted.
And you not only take it for granted, most people aren't even breathing properly to begin with. So the moment someone teaches you how to breathe, you will see. Yeah. And even in a normal how to breathe session, I've got people writing to me saying, oh my God, I felt this tingling sensation in my hands. And just from teaching them how to inhale and exhale properly. Oh, I can sleep at night now. My neck doesn't hurt and my headache's gone. Headache. You're popping pills for nothing. If you do breath work, and there's this pressure point at the back of your neck that
maybe we can show later.
We can show them later that
trick.
You will never, ever, you can cure a headache in like 30 seconds.
Okay, I have one more question because there's a lot of questions about this and people are wondering.
Yeah.
Kundalini, the topic of Kundalini.
Ooh.
Yes. What is it and why do we want to activate it so much?
Okay. There's so many urban legends about Kundalini. So much misinformation. So much. So here's what Kundalini is. So, let's say when you were conceived by your mom and dad and the egg and sperm got together, this force inside that zygote, it's called a zygote. When the egg and sperm get together, they form a cell called a zygote. There's a force in the zygote that turns you into a fetus. So in the 9 months that you're in your mom, you go from this one cell to this trillion cell that's shaped like a baby. Not like a mango tree, not like a dog, a baby human. We call that force Kundalini. So Kundalini is the creative force of the universe that turns you into that aspect of God that needs to be expressed in you. Okay. And when that job is done and you're about to be born, that energy rests in the base of the spine. Okay? Yogis, being incredibly intelligent because they're using more than 30% of their brain, have learned to hack this energy. The same way a computer hacker will hack the system. To be able to continue to remake, rewire, transform your cells, even when you're already a fully grown human being. Now, this is Kundalini. The thing is, why is it so misunderstood? When Kundalini transforms you, it usually needs to first remove all those stagnant pools of energy that are in your body. Okay. And when it starts to transform you, you change. And changing feels different. right? Think of shoes. You've been wearing these sneakers for like a year.
Yeah.
They're so comfortable you don't even know they're on your feet anymore.
Yeah.
And then one day your parents say, they're getting worn out and your feet are starting to hurt.
Yeah.
It's the sneaker. We need to now buy you new shoes.
Yeah.
And they buy you the upgraded model.
Yeah.
You put the upgraded model on, you're like, oh, it's weird. I don't like it. So think of that same thing happening in your spine. Not on your foot, but inside you.
Yeah.
All your cells
Different energy.
may complain
All right.
because they're being moved around, and yes, they're becoming better, but change usually is scary for a lot of people. And if you have a lot of fear and you're not informed properly, the first thing you're going to think is, oh my God, I'm possessed. Or, oh my God, I have cancer. Or, oh my God, I have some kind of nerve disease. Or, oh my God, all these oh my Gods. But really what's happening is you're transforming into a better version of you, just like your new shoes. But the thing is, no one's there to guide you.
Yeah.
So
We
you
don't
start
understand.
making up all of these horror stories in your head of what you think is happening to you.
But why can it be sometimes unpleasant experience?
Because, let's say,
The body is not ready.
because you've got so many boulders in your stream. Okay? You've got the stream, Kundalini is like the boat. And it's trying to get down the stream from here to here. But there's so many boulders on the way. So what does the boat do? Bump into all the boulders. Okay? This is one of the reasons why Kriya Yoga exists and if anyone out there thinks that they are having a Kundalini experience, they want more clarity, feel free to write me. Okay? Because my Guruji Pratipulal has been training me to help people with these issues. Kriya Yoga will take the boulders out of your stream. And so you will have a smooth rising with no issues.
So why there is a rising if we're not ready, let's say?
Because in a past life, you worked on yourself. And you are now reaping the benefits of that work. So there are some people, like I know this guy, he was in UK in a pub having a pint when his Kundalini decided to come up. And he was in college. And the reason it did so, he found out years later, was because in his past life, he was a yogi. And at that particular age, he had worked on his Kundalini and he had opened Kundalini and he was doing all these high-level yogi practices and he died at the same age that he was when he was in the pub having a pint. So, his new body was programmed to activate at that particular time. Of course, having not done any yoga in his life or not, having been born auspiciously to have parents that could tell you what's going on or to have been put in a monastery or whatever it is to learn meditation, whatever. He didn't have any of that. He had to take that long road. And what happened was, so they tried all the doctors, they even started bringing him to a priest for exorcisms, and of course nothing would work, he still felt weird. And then finally someone in an ashram in India had explained this to them, and actually met him in my Guruji's ashram, and he was working on his body furiously. And the Kriya practices were helping him to become open so that there wouldn't be any side effects. When Kundalini came up, there were no boulders in the stream, and everything was pretty much okay.
So what does it give you when you finally have this Kundalini?
Okay, Kundalini is a transformative energy. So depending on which part of your body that it is able to pass through and start flowing in, it will start to transform. There are 334, if I'm not mistaken, routes that Kundalini could possibly take through your body, not one. So there are 334 different abilities that you may gain from arising. Like speaking of my own experience, I have the ability to chant energy up people's spines, so sometimes you might feel that. Okay, and I don't talk about it, and you probably not hear me talk about it again. Because then I'd be brainwashing you if I sat there and said, I'm going to chant now, you're going to feel the energy up. I don't have to say that.
Yeah. So when did it happen for you?
Well, that was
how it was.
So back to my story.
Yes.
When I turned into the river.
Okay.
Right? So I turned into the river. That was maybe the first Samadhi experience I had with my Guruji.
Yeah.
I turned into the river, and then later on in the night and for the next 3 days, my throat started to become itchy and swollen. It started to get really swollen and I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
And he had to heal me, and I had this really big issue here, and he started pulling the energy out because it was getting stuck. But after that, I think it was a week or 2 week process of this happening to me. After that, when I chanted, energy started to move up people's spines. And I had other abilities with my speech as well. So that is one of because the Kundalini had come up through a certain Nagi called the Saraswati Nagi.
Okay, I think that would be it. But before we finish, is there anything you would like to add?
So just want to leave people with a reminder that you are the inhale and exhale of the divine. And that is pure, unconditional love. And this is the medicine that everyone is looking for. For any disease, this remembrance of unconditional love that is in every atom of your body. When you spark that remembrance in every atom of your body, you're happy, healthy, and safe. And just remember that. Love is all you need.
That's so beautiful. And thank you so much for your time, for this interview. I believe everybody will appreciate. And thank you guys for being here. And if you would like more interviews like this, please support this channel by liking this video and subscribing. And before we finish, as promised, we will give you the trick to get rid of headaches.
Most people's necks are in the wrong position. Where's your iPad? Yeah, grab your iPad so we can demonstrate. So I just want you to sit and look at your iPad.
Yeah,
there we go. There we go. This is why more people are having headaches. Okay, and also there's the emotional stress because the amygdala and hippocampus in your brain are firing and making you stressed, and then your neck tightens. First of all, do lots of breath work and stretch your neck. But if you want to relieve a headache while you've got one, first, I'm going to put my hand here and press her head back a little. And then I'm going to put my hands here and start to squeeze where her neck and skull meet, the soft bit of flesh. I'm pushing in, and I'm pulling up. And I keep squeezing, and I'm going to feel these knots of tension. And the more in pain the person is, the more knots of tension you're going to feel. I'm pressing in, and I'm sliding the fingers towards the back of her skull, giving her a little bit of a pressure massage here. Notice how my hands are getting closer and closer together. And then when I get to around 1 inch, I'm just going to pull. And that's going to cause a surge of circulation into her head, and that's going to actually instantaneously relieve the headache. And if you don't believe me, you can try it.
I believe you.
But if you check my Instagram account, because on my Instagram account is a 40-minute session of Kriya that prevents migraines. So if you get frequent headaches and you do it, and people have already written to me to tell me how, wow, I did your video and my headaches are gone. So
wow, that's awesome.
it really does work. It's written testimony there on the video.
You don't have to get and eat all these pills.
No. It'll save you money, and it's probably better for your liver.
Yes. All right. Again,
Okay.
thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.